It is a pleasure to be here this morning to be the keynote speaker on what promises to be a very interesting seminar curated by Apoorva Jayaraman. This morning I wish to start by asking a few questions pertaining to performance and practice of dance. Also, could we have the lights on the audience? This is one of the few rare occasions when we get to see you. I'm not performing. When the classical musician sings in alignment with Shruti, we applaud them for their harmony with the tampura. Hearing music of that quality fills the listener with saukhyam, relish. It is rasanubhava. I ask, do we as artists and audience wish to experience harmony and alignment in dance? Does the dancer need to align with anything, or does the dance exist in isolation? When space and time are the fundamental pillars of classical dance, should they not be the tampuras to which the dancer must align with? What is maintaining Shruti in dance? Do we need it? Is there need for this alignment? Does the audience, when watching a dance program, need to experience the harmony of a dancer in alignment with space and time? Or is it that the dancing body is trapped in the physical form and can therefore never align or transform? Or never should transform? Have we moved away from the very idea of transformation in dance? Does transformation apply only to musicians in music kacheris and not dancers in dance kacheris? Can dance be daivikam? What is tapasya in dance practice? I leave you with these questions and hope it generates an interesting discussion during the seminar. Repurposing the relevance of practice and performance. Classical dance is our critical heritage, and we as a society need to validate its purpose in our lives. The responsibility for this lies with all of us: organizers, artists, students of dance, scholars, dancers, academicians, people connected with dance performance, and dance enthusiasts. We need to reflect on many aspects of classical dance in practice, performance, appreciation, and the greater purpose it could convey. I remember when growing up, my mother took me to a lot of dance programs as she wanted to expose me to the greats in dance. T. Bala Saraswati, Yamini Krishnamurti, Sanjukta Panigrihe, Kamala Lakshman, Kanakarele, Roshan Vajifta, the list goes on. Even as a young girl, I remember the experience of coming away from the programs knowing I had seen something deep and beautiful, even though I could not fully understand what I had seen. My mother, a true rasika, would often return from the program in tears. From that time on, I sensed that classical dance had the power to emotionally move the viewer to take them beyond. There was resonance. Later on in the years when I was training with my gurus, my mother and I went to numerous programs, and we went as rasikas to look, to relish, and contemplate on what we saw. We often discussed the programs in detail as it provided artistic and poetic insights. These days, there is a different trend emerging where the emphasis is on the physicality of the dance rather than the soulful, thus making dance more performative than artistic, more externally oriented than internal. This also sets apart two distinctly different attitudes to dance. The performative captures our immediate attention both as practitioners and audience, as it stimulates us visually with a reaction to the dance. The performative in dance is characterized by a strong physicality in dance movement, a bold stage presence of the dancer together with confidence. Throughout the performance, the emphasis is on the I and is all dominating. So much so that poetry, subtext, nuances of technique, which is the key to the portrayal of characters, is all but lost. And this kind of dancing is so me-centric. Mannerisms of the individual, which break the aesthetics in dance, are often excused as the emerging style of the star performer, instead of it being seen as non-alignment with Shruti in dance. For the most part, in these performances, we see the dancer and not the dance. Most often, dancers seem to pick the performative mode as it gives them quick returns, applause, and perhaps a larger presence on social media. Performances like these also encourage a passive viewing by the audience. Since the audience is not expected to relate to or empathize with the dance, the audience can also sort of sit back and just have the dance happening in front of them, but not really participate. The artistic path, on the other hand, has fewer practitioners, as it requires internalization of dance, where the dance is supreme, not the dancer. Here, the dancer's body and being is only an instrument, a patra, a container, which is prepared for the purpose of creating a larger vision. A vision that is beyond the I, the me of the dancer. This path requires the dancer to have a thinking mind that moves away from the superficial, the surface, and dives deeper into the dance to allow immersion. This approach also allows the dancer to see a bigger vision, which brings a more thoughtful response to interpretation, content, technique, and concept. This deliberation by the dancer is vital if we in the audience are to feel the full intensity and magnificence of the dance form and to be taken closer to moments of rasa, so integral to classical dance. But for this, the audience too has to respond empathetically to complete the circuit from dancer to viewer. In this experience, resonance is created. For this topic of repurposing the relevance and practice of performance, I think it's vital we look at classical dance and ask ourselves what role we want it to play in our lives. Is it a form of entertainment, a distraction from our mundane lives, a performance where we can be passive onlookers? Or is it a space where we get a chance to discover other worlds far more intense than we could ever imagine, and where through the vision of the artist, we experience the unseen and hear the unheard? When classical dance has the power to take us from the ordinary to the extraordinary, do we want to miss out on this unique possibility to remain instead in the everyday? Surely classical dance has a greater purpose than fulfilling a function in our lives. This is a question we need to address collectively. The Rasa Sutra states, Vibhava Anubhava Vyabhichari Samyogat Rasa Nishpatihi. And Abhinava Gupta, the 13th century commentator on the Natya Shastra, has likened the rasa experience to Brahmananda Sahodara. What is affirmed is beyond the structure and discipline of classical arts lies the expanse of unfettered freedom. Simply put, the rasa experience is likened to the attainment of bliss and calls for transformation. To quote A.K. Ramanujan, in traditional cultures like India, where context sensitivity rules and binds, the dream is to be free of context. So rasa in aesthetics, moksha in the aims of life, sannyasa in life stages, spota in semantics, and bhakti in religion define themselves against a background of inexorable contextuality. In the realm of feeling, bhavas are private, contingent, context-roused sentiments. Vibhavas are determinant causes. Anubhavas, the consequent expressions. But rasa is generalized, it is essence. A necessary sequence in time with strict rules of phase and context ends in a free state. Unquote. This poses for us a lot of interesting questions. If this be the case, how does the dancer artist make it her own and situate it in the sight of her body? Can the body of the dancer transform itself? Can one command the moment of rasa to occur, or does one prepare in anticipation? Is it habituated? What is the state of mind when the moment happens? And can this moment be recalled? It's like if you go to a great concert and you feel this aha moment, you know you've experienced it, but if you come outside and if you want to sort of recall it, you can't relive it, because it lives only in that moment and then it's gone. And that is the magic of rasa. Questions are endless, filling the mind with possibilities and ephemerality. Seeking rasa is like reaching into the unknown with only faith as a compass. Coming back to the performative and the artistic, how do we inspire the next generation of dancers to look deeper at their art forms in practice and performance if we do not collectively eschew that which is superficial, melotum, patchy in concept, weak in technique, and poor in visualization? We need to actively discriminate the mediocre from the good from the excellent. By doing so, the committed dancers who are working towards excellence will feel validated and continue to improve. This, in time, I believe, will bring back excellence to dance, as nowadays the cacophony of mediocrity is stifling committed dancers. To add to this chaos, we do not have any merit-oriented regulation which distinguishes the wannabe dancers from the seasonal dancers who appear in the season and then disappear, and from the amateurs and the professionals. The amateurs from the professionals, because everyone presently is all in the same circuit. Everyone has aspirations to be in the same circuit. So if somebody has really practiced very hard and has worked on improving their performance, they are seen side by side with somebody who's just done the Arangetram in July. Both of them, both the artists, are sharing the same 6 p.m. slot. And then you question and you say, oh, how does this happen? So what my concern is, what do the more committed dancers, what happens to them? Because the weaker dancers, the ones who are just doing melotum anyway, is fine because they'll drift along for some time and then vanish because they're not interested. And they will not be able to sustain what dance requires. But there are the next gen dancers, there are serious committed dancers. What do we do for them? How do we validate them? How do we tell them that, yes, please go and strive for excellence? Because we, as a society, we as a dance fraternity are willing to discriminate and say, yes, we see your excellence from the non-excellence or from the very sort of just average dancing of this other dancer. So these are big questions we need to all ask ourselves. Overall, we need more in-depth discussions and artistic practice of dance between dancers. Critics need to write objectively and with perspective without making reviews descriptive in nature, because that seems to be an easy way out. You really don't assess the dancing, you just describe what happened in the performance from beginning to end. Organizers need to have programs based on meritocracy. Students of dance should make the effort to see other dance programs outside their own school programs to help them learn and absorb. This is greatly missing in Chennai. Today it's wonderful. So Apoorva, you must have done something quite fantastic. Yeah, congratulations to you. Yeah, to get so many dancers. And I have not seen so many dancers come together in any other dance performance, frankly. So great going, wish you luck, more success, more Navadishas in the next few years. And also musicians should give committed dancers who wish to rehearse more rehearsal time. The list is endless, right? I think we need more rehearsal time. Also what happens is because dancers are sort of crunched in on the rehearsals, it's taking a very strange twist, because now what is happening is, oh, I only do one rehearsal and I'm fine. If somebody tells me that, I'm very alarmed, because I say, where do you get excellence if you do one rehearsal? How do you understand the musician? How does a musician understand what you're doing with only one? So it's becoming a certain sort of, it's almost a pride to say, I don't need rehearsals, which I really don't think we get to excellence, we don't get to professionalism, we don't get to, the kind of presentation we need to make with Bharatanatyam with few rehearsals. We need to have a mind frame which says, yes, we need to rehearse and we need to up our standard, what we can do with dance. And that only comes with practice. There is no shortcut on that. That's another discussion in itself. At this point, I would like to congratulate Trinity Arts and Apoorva Jayaraman for conceptualizing this kind of seminar which brings together dancers in discussion. It is a much needed event in Chennai, and I wish it more success, more conversations, more discussions, and something where, dancers can come together without feeling intimidated. There's no reason to be intimidated. We need to talk dance, we need to discuss dance, we need to, be free about it and not feel, that we are not feel that we're going to be judged. And I think that's the thing. We need to get away from this mind frame which says we are going to be judged. Instead, no, we don't want to be judged. We just want to discuss. We want trust and we want to discuss. And we don't want it to be written on social media. Yeah, because that's another thing. Because the moment we say something and then it becomes this huge sort of issue on social media, I really don't think it's necessary. Dancers who are committed, who are thinking, who will finally make the contribution for the next gen. There are only a few of you who will make that contribution. But if you have the gift and you have the talent and you have the intelligence, then you need to work on your technique really strong, really hard, and then raise the bar. Because as I said, it belongs to you. The stage belongs to all of you sitting here. And we need to see that. And I'm just waiting to see that. I want to be able to say, in dance we have fantastic, we have 10, 15 absolutely terrific dancers who are going to, who will make contribution in the next 10, 15 years. In music, people are saying it, right? All the time I'm hearing this, oh, music, classical music, wonderful, so many musicians. So what is happening to dance? Why? Why not in dance? So then it's a deep question. And to say, can we look at it objectively and say, why is it not happening in dance? Does it mean that it cannot happen in dance? Are we saying it cannot happen? Dancers. Are we saying it cannot happen in dance? We cannot raise the bar. We cannot get pushed to that level of excellence. Are we saying that? Then do something, right? So do something. Now it's about saying, you all of you dancers out here have to put in that amount of effort, that amount of, like thinking to say, what can we do? If it not happened enough, it's happening in patches, it's not happening enough, what can we do? And if all of you do it, hopefully in the next 3, 4, 5 years, we will see a crop of dancers who are extraordinary. And that's my vision, or that's my dream. Thank you.